life, the bright lights, the type the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me, they pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
76ers at Knicks. NBA shot clock. Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. Two top official plays in this game. Both player props. Kelly Oubre Jr. under 11.5 points. And Dante DiVincenzo over 2.5 threes. This is game 5 of this series with the Knicks up 3-1. A desperation game for Philadelphia, which means one thing. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid will have the ball in their hands far more than usual, and you want to fade the secondary players in terms of their point totals. We're really centering on Kelly Oubre Jr. in this fade market, who averaged 15.4 points per game in the regular season, 12 in the playoffs, and the line 11.5, indicating an under. If we go through Kelly this series, direct road versus home polarization, averaging 17 points per game at home in games 3 and 4, only 7 points per game on the road. Let's talk about the Knicks. Philadelphia, if they want to stay alive in this series, is going to have to key in on limiting Jalen Brunson, who scored 47 points in Game 4 to take a 3-1 lead for the Knicks. Philadelphia will be doubling this guy all night, which will open up Dante DiVincenzo to explode out of a shooting slump, shooting far below his season average in this series and coming off of lackluster 5-point and 8-point efforts on the road in games 3 and 4. Dante is averaging only 2 threes per game in this series, 1 over at home in game 2, 4 for 8, and the line is north of that at 2.5. Expect Dante to get a lot of looks tonight and get over 3 threes. 2 opportunities to dominate, 2 official plays in this game. Kelly Oubre Jr. under 11.5 points. Dante DiVincenzo over 2.5 threes. Let's cash these tickets.
Pacers at Bucks. Junior Browne back with NBA Shot Clock on this Tuesday, April 30th with another free pick. And we're rocking with the Pacers team total over 110. So the only thing that I can say positively about Doc Rivers that he's done in Milwaukee is fix their transition defense, right? Because the Pacers are trying to push the pace, but their transition offense has actually not been very efficient at all. Now, with that said, if you're going to shut down their transition opportunities, you would think that Milwaukee would take advantage by maybe getting out of transition themselves, but I understand that they're not going to push the pace because that leads to Indiana coming back the other way. So essentially, it's just kind of like they've canceled each other out. Milwaukee's not running, but they've shut down Indiana's ability to score efficiently in transition. Fine. So obviously, logic is going to tell you Milwaukee has to be more efficient than Indiana in the half court. It's the only way they can win. Well, the problem there is the most efficient half court offense in the playoffs right now is the Pacers. So what that tells me is on every level, Milwaukee is not ready to compete in the way that they want to compete, right? Because they're only here for championships. They're not here to win first round series. And they cannot compete at this level because their defense is just too poor. In game 2, when the Pacers won their first game, which started this 3-game winning streak, the Pacers scored 122 points in only 87 possessions. That's why this total is so low. It's only 110 because of the low number of possessions in this series. In fact, Indiana has scored 120 points or more in the last 3 games, and not one of those games has gotten to 100 possessions. Now, game 2, where they scored 122 and 87, that's 140 points per 100 possessions. That's an insane number. That's insanely efficient offense. And it's been that way the last 3 games. So as amazing as Boston looks in the other series, Indiana's offense has actually been more efficient. So I say all of that to say I'm going to show Milwaukee the respect that they deserve by saying that the atmosphere in their building, their fans, is one of the best in the NBA. So you don't really know how the Pacers are going to react to that. And I'm not comfortable laying anything over -3 with an inexperienced team on the road trying to close out a former champ. Okay, even with Giannis and Dame out, if you guys watch playoff basketball, you know the crowd can really lift a young team to perform above their standard. Now, I say all that to say Indiana's most likely going to close them out tonight. And I'm going by what I've seen in the last 3 games, which is their offensive efficiency will allow them to score over 110 points as long as they get at least 90 possessions, which is basically the average in this series. So I'm banking on the one thing I can count on, the Indiana Pacers offense, over 110 points. Let's cash another ticket, y'all.
Magic at Cavaliers, 8 o'clock, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Game 5 of this series, an official play, Cleveland -4.5, 1 unit. This series is very transparent in its polarization. Both teams performing great at home and terrible on the road, with the home team in this series averaging win margin 21.3 points per game. Go back to games 1 and 2, April 20th and 22nd. Cleveland 97, Orlando 93, Cleveland 96, Orlando 86. And this line telling us a very similar story of margin, with Cleveland coming off of 2 consecutive road obliterations down in Orlando, a 38-point loss and a 23-point loss. Orlando's a young team. Their crowd clearly got behind them, inspired them, and helped them to find their flow, and that will not be the case in Game 5 for a far more veteran Cleveland team at home. A top official in this game, the best bet of the day, ATS side by Cleveland at -4.5, and let's cash this ticket.